Hello, everyone. We're so glad that you can join us. My name is Fion Viodas, and I am affiliated with the Division of Diversity and Innovation and also with the Department of Psychology.
Hello, everyone. My name is Thierry Divos. I'm also a faculty affiliated with the Division of Diversity and Innovation and with the Department of Psychology.
We've created this short 10-minute video to talk about some of the challenges that graduate students are facing. And we really hope that this video is helpful for graduate students, but also for faculty and staff who are supporting graduate students. So, Thierry, what exactly are we going to talk about today?
Well, we hope that basically you will get three simple takeaways. Our first point will be that given the circumstance, making some adjustments is not optional, it's actually necessary. And then we'll talk a little bit about the importance of good open communication. And then finally, we will share some tips that we use when we have to set goals for ourselves.
That sounds good. I think those are all very relevant topics right now. But before we get into that, I just have to acknowledge the fact that it's pretty scary right now. You know, we're all dealing with something that we haven't before. And I'm wondering for you, Thierry, are you concerned?
Absolutely, I am. I must say that, every now and then I feel like the situation is overwhelming. It's very unsettling. And I think this is perfectly normal. We probably all feel that way. And actually on that topic, I want to share with our audience the result of a recent poll that we conducted with graduate students. And you see on this slide that many graduate students indicated that they were concerned about a variety of topics. The type of things that they are more concerned with are the impact that this may have on their coursework, having a harder time juggling different priorities, the toll that this situation may have on their mental health, well-being, having to adjust to online teaching and online learning, also the prospect of losing income or employment, even the impact that this may have on your physical health, the challenges of maintaining ties with your community.
Currently, most of our students right now are mainly concerned about how they're doing academically, but then also this balance. And I think as faculty members, that's been a struggle for us too. I know for me personally, it's been challenging balancing teaching and my family and working from home. So I'm glad that we're going to address these topics. Thierry, what do you see as the main challenge for graduate students?
To me, the main challenge is pretty much what you just mentioned, this idea of having to balance various aspects of your life. I went to graduate school a long time ago. I still remember having some struggles, some difficulties balancing the various important aspects of my life. So if you think of the situation graduate students are in, they need to take care of their coursework. They are enrolled in a variety of fairly challenging graduate seminar. And then they have a job. Some of them teach on our campus, other works on a research grant. Some people have a job off campus. So that's important too. And then there is what I would call their scholarship, right? They work on a thesis, on a research project. They are expected to publish or present this work at conferences. And then finally, there is your more personal social life that also is a very important aspect of your life. So balancing all of that, that's fairly difficult. And I must say, even myself at this point in my career, I still struggle every now and then balancing the various components of my life.
I'm so glad that you brought that up because right now, graduate students are sort of a unique population in that undergraduates can focus mostly on coursework. Faculty members, we're focusing on, our teaching and our scholarship, but graduate students fall in between. And so they have to worry about all of those things. So I imagine it's pretty stressful as a graduate student, particularly right now at this time. So I hope that's validating for graduate students to hear that this is super stressful and you all give yourself permission to kind of take a deep breath. And hopefully as we move through this presentation, we can give you some helpful tips on how to balance a little bit better. Okay, so what kind of adjustments would you recommend that the graduate students make?
So as we just discussed, I think that all aspects of life are important and all those aspects are affected by the current situation. And in some cases, the impact is very immediate. It's right now. In other cases, the impact can be actually long lasting. Those are things that will have effect that will carry on for a long, long time. And maybe there are aspects where it's fairly easy to make adjustments, and not the case where the adjustments are a lot more challenging. My advice would be first to focus on the potential economic consequences of this situation. If you lost your job, you need to focus on that. You want to make sure the funding that you are supported with, that's secure for the remaining of the semester and maybe for the upcoming academic year. So, and then I would say, do not neglect your physical health and emotional well-being. If you are sick, tired, or depressed, you cannot function. So things like eating well, making sure you have enough sleep, that you still connect online with people who are important to you, that you keep doing some fun activities, that's very important too. I would say once you've taken care of those things that are very basic needs, then you can think of how you can remain productive on the academic side.
Great. So if I were making a list right now, the first thing that would be at the top of that list is making sure that I can pay my bills, my finances are in order. And if they're not, then reaching out to whoever I need to contact in order to get that in place. In addition to that, taking care of my emotional and physical well-being so that I can finish out the semester strong. And then I'll focus on sort of my coursework and being productive academically. So with this slide, what would you say is the second thing that graduate students should focus on?
Well, to me, what we just discussed, the need to make adjustments, it's very clear that you should not have to do that on your own, right? So I encourage all graduate students to reach out to their advisor, and even more, encourage faculty to reach out to their graduate students. So communication between faculty and grad students is really a two-way street. Now is a time to have frequent, ongoing communication between faculty and graduate students, so that you can have this open conversation, not just about academic issues, but also about non-academic topic. I think that it's important to find ways to stay connected with people. So work with peers, or try to make sure that you have lab meetings or research meetings where you can still interact with people who will not only provide emotional support, but also keep you engaged in whatever you are working on.
Exactly. I agree with that 100%. So it's quality over quantity. So even if it's just a few graduate students who you reach out to and you form a connection and you guys can maybe check in with each other on a weekly basis, that can take you a long way. Okay. So this cartoon here, explain it to me, Thierry.
Well, it's kind of a somewhat humorous, but in my experience, often when I set up a goal for myself, I think I have a clear plan, I know how to get there, and then reality kicks in, and then it takes a lot less smooth than what I anticipated. But to me, the point is that even though this is reality, this is a very common experience, it's still very important to set goals for ourselves.
So what might that look like when you say set goals? Goals just with coursework, or what kind of goals would you recommend your graduate students set?
Well, again, going back to those various aspects of our life, I think it's not a bad idea to set up goals for all those aspects.
For me, I have to set just really small goals right now. And that means for the day, I am going to make sure that my kids get up at the same time and eat breakfast, and then make sure they get their coursework done. And then I move into setting goals for my productivity. And so I also think it's important that we set realistic goals so we don't disappoint ourselves.
And you see on the slide, that's exactly my first basic principle is, I set specific realistic goal. Yes, I have big dreams, but maybe now that it's the time to be a bit more pragmatic. And then I would define the goals and also the steps to get there. So break it down into a series of steps and give yourself a rough, flexible timeline that you hope to stick to. And then in particular, when we need to kind of come up with new solutions, take the time to consider all the options that are available to you right now. And then pick the one that you feel like right now, given the resource that I have, the time that I have, this is going to be the most efficient way to pursue my goal. I think now is the time also maybe to be more thoughtful in terms of picking fewer goals. You emphasize the quality over the quantity. You are fine with doing things more slowly if it means that you will do them well. And then related to that, I always try to protect what I call my most vulnerable goals. Like I know that there are things that I need to do. I need to teach. I need to do my job if I'm a graduate student, if I'm a TA, for example. That means that there are other things that are likely to take a bigger hit. And for me, it would be, for example, writing the next manuscript. For graduate students, it could be working on their thesis. So making sure that you set time aside to do these more vulnerable goals, that to me is important too. And in addition to that, it helps me if I pick goals, if I choose directions that are meaningful to me, that I care about. Because if I do so, the work is likely to be more rewarding and more fun. And then be kind to yourself. Again, given the circumstances, I don't like to put too much pressure on myself. It's okay to have days where I feel like I've not been very productive. I give myself a pass. I'm willing to say, okay, there's going to be some setbacks. Again, be kind to yourself.
Well, it's great to hear you say that because you are a very productive person. And to know that you are giving yourself some flexibility to make necessary adjustments during this time says that even folks who are super productive recognize that right now it's okay to slow down a bit. And maybe you're not going to be as productive as you were before. Our 3 takeaways would be, first of all, it's okay to make adjustments. I hope that no one's expecting you to be as productive as you were before all this started because things have gotten a bit complicated. The second thing is communicate. Get a group of your classmates who you can chat with maybe once a week, and you can brainstorm with each other different ways of setting and meeting goals. The last thing is to make sure that you are setting realistic goals so that you can actually reach those goals. And I know today we just kind of scratched the surface. So, Thierry, what would you say to those folks who say, I still have questions, I want to dig a little bit deeper? What would you recommend?
You're absolutely right. What we did in this video is just kind of articulate some basic bullet points, abstract principles. So if people want to continue this conversation, we will set up some live session. You can sign up for the session on the same page that you use to access this video. And we can talk about some of those ideas that we went over in the video, but any other topic is fair game as well. So we want this to be kind of a safe, open space for people so that they can talk about their experience, their struggle, their success stories.
Great. That's wonderful. So thank you so much for joining us, and we hope that you all stay safe.
Absolutely. Stay safe, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.